I'm 83 years old, and if I'm honest with you, there is one regret that keeps me awake far more than any other. It's not the jobs I didn't take, or the man I didn't marry. It's the time I stole from myself. I wasted 6 decades, 60 years of my one precious life, trying to keep pace with people who weren't running my race. I spent so much energy looking over the fence at Mrs. Henderson's perfect rose garden that I let the weeds take over my own. It sounds simple, but the comparison trap is a thief. And when you're my age, you realize that time is the only thing you can never earn back. That obsession with what if and why don't I have that defined my entire middle age. Back when I was in my 30s and 40s, we didn't have the internet or social media feeds telling us how miserable we were. But we had windows and we had neighborhoods. The comparison was real and it was brutal. Every new car parked in the driveway, every promotion listed in the local paper, every expensive vacation pamphlet left on the coffee table. It was a scorecard. I remember seeing a beautiful diamond necklace on my neighbor Carol at a Christmas party, and instantly, the modest pearl necklace my husband had worked overtime to buy me felt cheap and dull. My happiness wasn't defined by what I had. It was defined by what Carol had that I didn't. It was poison, and I swallowed it willingly every single day. I was never satisfied. When we bought our first house, I felt proud, until my sister-in-law bought a bigger, split-level home across town. When my children brought home good grades, I immediately asked if the neighbor's child, little Jimmy, had scored higher. It's exhausting to live your life through someone else's highlight reel. I put immense pressure on my husband to work longer hours just so we could buy things we didn't even want, only things we thought we should have. The worst part? Those materialistic victories were hollow. They provided a fleeting moment of relief, a temporary sense of catch-up, before the next comparison opportunity arrived, pulling me back into the chase. The deepest wound this caused wasn't financial. It was emotional. I robbed myself of genuine presence. How many priceless moments did I miss with my kids playing in the living room because I was preoccupied budgeting how to afford a bigger vacation to match the Smiths down the street. Decades ago, peace was affordable, but I was too busy trying to buy prestige. When I look at old photographs now, I don't remember the joy of the moment. I remember the anxiety. Are we good enough? Do we look successful? The anxiety was the default setting, turning every genuine accomplishment into a stepping stone toward the next anxiety-inducing goal set by someone else's achievement. I regret the courage I lacked. So many times I held myself back from pursuing my own quiet dreams, like taking that pottery class or starting a small neighborhood book club, because those activities felt small. They wouldn't impress anyone. If it wasn't a grand, marketable achievement that matched the perceived success of my peers, I dismissed it. I interpreted contentment as complacency. I chased ambition defined by external markers, never realizing that my true self was waiting patiently for me to just sit down and acknowledge what made me feel fulfilled, not what made others applaud. That silence, that personal voice, got drowned out by the noise of comparison. The turning point came late, far too late. It was after my 70th birthday. My dear friend Helen, who lived across the street, passed away very suddenly. She was the one who always seemed to have the perfect life, the tailored clothes, the impressive parties, the huge legacy fund. At her funeral, her youngest daughter got up and spoke, and she didn't talk about the successes or the things. She spoke about Helen's profound loneliness, her constant fear of judgment, and the desperate lengths she went to keep up appearances. It was a revelation. It hit me like a physical blow. Helen was living her life for my approval, just as I was living mine for hers. We were two prisoners guarding each other's invisible, imaginary jail cell. When the facade finally cracked, I realized something vital about the perfect people I envied. Their gardens weren't flawless. They were just strategically weeded before I visited. Their marriages weren't unbreakable. They were often held together by shared mortgages and public denial. We were all playing the same exhausting game of dress-up, convinced we were the only ones failing. That realization that everyone is struggling with their own private battles is the greatest wisdom old age has given me. The moment I stopped striving to be like the people I envied, I was finally free to see them clearly, as human, flawed, and just as uncertain as I was. I spent a lifetime seeking external affirmation, a better title, a nicer piece of furniture, a prettier smile. But the true measure of a successful life is the amount of peace you carry inside you, not the size of the house you live in. True fulfillment is an inside job. It took losing decades to figure out that the deep, quiet satisfaction I craved wasn't found in reaching the next external milestone, but in sitting still and appreciating the view from where I already stood. I wish I could grab my younger self by the shoulders and scream, "Stop running! You are already there! Everything you need is already within your grasp." What does this mean for you, watching this today? You have a new version of the neighbor's yard. It's called social media. It is 20 times more insidious and inescapable than my neighbors were. You are comparing your messy, unedited Tuesday morning reality to someone else's filtered, carefully curated Saturday night fantasy. Please understand this. You are receiving filtered evidence of happiness and using it as proof of your own deficiency. Don't let your phone become the window to your regret. That comparison doesn't inspire, it paralyzes. It makes you feel small, and when you feel small, you stop acting, dreaming, and daring. I often think about the wasted energy. If I had poured that same 60 years of obsession, that same focus I used on measuring my worth against others, into cultivating my own unique talents, or simply being more grateful, imagine the legacy I could have built. The cost of comparison isn't just unhappiness, it's lost opportunity. It's the art you never created, the novel you never started, the quiet afternoon you failed to enjoy. Don't let the fear of inadequacy crowd out the joy of simplicity. Joy doesn't usually come in grand, comparison-worthy packages. It comes in the scent of morning coffee and a good conversation with a loved one.
So how do you stop?
You start small. Every time you catch yourself measuring your life against someone else's perceived success, you pause and consciously redirect your thoughts to gratitude. Name 5 things you have right now that bring you actual, tangible comfort or peace. Is it the health in your legs? The roof over your head? The warmth of your pet? Shift your focus from external acquisition to internal appreciation. Build your own scorecard based on character, kindness, and connection, not commodities. Those are the only metrics that matter when you're facing your twilight years. I am 83, and I have finally learnt to love my life, messy garden and all. But I wish I had started in my 20s. Your life is not a competition. It is a one-person journey with a unique, irreplaceable itinerary. You owe yourself the dignity of living your own story, not starring in the sequel to someone else's. Take the lesson from this old woman. The only person you should be better than today is the person you were yesterday. Close the window, tend to your garden, and for heaven's sake, be happy with the flowers that bloom just for you.